Welcome back to the WDL, everyone. My name is Kason. I am your host, and this is Season 3, Week 2 of the War of the Divisions Draft League. And this week, we are going to start off with the Wezette division. If you missed last week, we have 4 different divisions, all 10 teams each. Last week, I covered every single fight. I don't think I'm going to be doing that this time. However, I will capture at least one game from every single series this week. I'm excited to get into these matches though, you guys. Before we do, just wanted to give a huge shout out to the YouTube members out there. There are 14 different people out there supporting this channel with some of their hard-earned money, and I so appreciate that. I just want to really emphasize how much it means to me that all of you are doing that. So thank you so much, everyone who is helping out with that. Thank you all of you guys for viewing this. This is a good time to hit like and subscribe down below as we jump in to the fights. Kicking off the Wezette division on the left side, we've got Garokin's Corked and Screwed with Mariel, Yuffie, and Sweetheart Ildira fresh off of her brand new 140. On the other side, we've got Chisei of the Heretics with Sadali, Renan, and Liarte. Will the guaranteed hits be enough coming up from Renan and Sadali on the other side, as there is tons of evasion on Garokin's team here? We'll have to find out. So Sadali going to walk over to Renan, give some Immortal Dogma to him. So Renan can be pretty bulky, especially with his barrier, and now he has re-raise as well. Spirit Barrier coming up from Mariel as the MR tank is killing about 14,000 HP. Lightning's Blessing from Renan, so he has his barrier online, and Shadow Devourer is going to start out the fight. Liarte walking forward. The Immobilize does not land, but the Poison does. That is going to slowly tick down Sweetheart Ildira's health bar as Yuffie says no guaranteed hits for you for the next 3 turns, and Constricting Cleave from Sweetheart Ildira takes out the Liarte right out of the gate here. So Sadali, what is he going to do? He's going to go Zombie Transformation, and it looks like we've got a double re-raise strategy coming out from Chisei. You're going to have to kill both of these guys a couple of times, and Thunder Flash Accelerant, not a TMR we see all the time, but this is Renan's own TMR, using it on himself for some magic and haste up, as level 4 Banishka comes out from Mariel, a decent amount of chip actually onto the Sadali, who can get quite a bit of AoE resist. So not bad coming out from your tank. This poison is really hurting Sweetheart Ildira though. 3420, let's look at the health bar, takes over half of what she had left. So the next turn, she's going to die to poison, guaranteed, as Ball Lightning Plus comes out and does a decent chunk to Mariel. That breaks barriers, so that magic barrier that she had online, not going to matter quite as much. Indoctrination does about 4k as well. Yuffie, it is your turn. You're going to have to carry this fight pretty hard to win. Art of War comes out, 3-hit chain onto the Renan. Ball Lightning Plus comes out. It is going to kill Mariel, but as you can see, the dodgy Yuffie is ready to try and take over. Sweetheart Ildira, what can you do before you die? Constricting Cleave is going to take the first life away from Renan. He is not a cat, does not have 9 lives, but he does have 2. He is going to be going up next. No, I lied. The CT turn order changed there. Sadali's actually going next with Indoctrination. Gets the debuff, but not the damage as the attack misses. Yuffie with 86 AP is going to try and carry this fight with a perfectly beautiful 7,500 health bar. Reaping Edge comes out, kills Sadali's first life, and now both of the boys are zombies at this moment. What can Renan do? Does he have a guaranteed hit to try and seal this? Is Guarantee Nullify still gone? Yes, I believe it is. I think this is the last turn before the Guaranteed Nullification is gone. Midnight Ways misses. Man, oh man, this Yuffie trying to take over. Can she find an AoE on both? I don't think so. I think they're just barely out of range of her AoE, but she takes out Sadali. Renan, you need to one-shot right now to even have a chance of winning this. What can you do? Unavailable Pain comes out, and he does just that. 78-58, kills the Yuffie, and Chisei wins game 1. Second game here, folks, and Garokin of Corked and Screwed switches up from the Fire Evade squad. Still has some evasion in his party with Resnick the Hoppy, but switches in Luel to boot, as Chisei also switches his team, goes with a Titus, Naya, and Stern Wing of Destiny combination. We haven't seen this yet from him, I don't believe, but it looks pretty strong on paper here. And so Naya's probably going to channel, I imagine, her regen ability. This could also be a Reflect, just kind of depends on what Chisei set up for her AI here. As Mariel's going to pop barrier, walk towards the middle, or at least towards Chisei's party anyway, as Saintly Fortress comes out from Titus. Does not have his 140 yet. Looks like that's coming this week, but he does have some hate online right now. And what is Stern going to do? Reawakening, that should be pretty predictable. That is his re-raise. It gives him some CT up when he respawns here. And Naya going to channel something now. What is she going for this time around as the momentum King Bradley TMR comes out from Resnick the Hoppy with the reaction block rate and the haste. And she's going to be moving very, very swiftly, hopping around the battlefield like any bunny would. And what is Luel going to do? Going to go for Tracker. So this is a Lara Croft TMR, not something we see all the time. Effect range and critical damage. I'm actually not sure if that affects any of her abilities. I don't think it does, but I could be mistaken here. As Stern is going to walk forward, we see a pause. That means it's a limit break time. Infinite Light channels this mega red lightsaber. What can he do to Mariel with it? 5,300 damage, not bad. Gives himself that haste and physical damage up buff, which really just enhances his damage nicely. And what does Resnick have in store? Thrice the Acrobat will just burst through his chain. His barrier, excuse me, his 3-hit barrier that he has online is now gone, as Mariel might actually be able to continue this slash chain on Titus. Does she go for the slash chain, or is she going for an arithmetician ability? I'm not sure what she's doing. She's sitting here thinking quite a bit. Tick-tock, Mariel. Okay, here we go. Chicken Blade comes out. That is massive damage onto Titus, who is notoriously more physically tanky than Magic. But yeah, that chain coming out from Resnick really boosting up Mariel's damage, able to take out the tank here. What can Luel do? Law of Geo-Absorption, only 2,700. Not as much as I think that Garokin would have liked to see. He's trying to get on the board for the first time. Constricting Cleave is massive, though. Lands the slow, which overwrites the haste, and that could be the break that Garokin needs to win this fight here. Mariel, does she try and take out the Stern, or does she just go for Naya? Naya has hate down, so she should go for Stern here, actually. As she is sitting here thinking again, no, I take that back. She finds Naya in the backline with the Mind Crusher. I'm not entirely sure why she went for that. Naya has hate down. I'm surprised that worked that way. But there goes Resnick the Hoppy, takes out Stern, but he's going to come back up with CT up, and that is not what Garokin wants to see. Can he find a massive AoE here? He's only got 1,149 health. No, he just finds a standard attack on a Mariel, as this is a full life from Naya. It lands on the Titus, but that healing power down. It looks like Titus not coming back with full life here. And does he have abilities off? Because he actually just standard attacked on the Luel. I'm surprised he didn't just go for something like Blade Bash. The Law of Geo-Absorption comes out, takes out the Stern, and unless Naya can land a full life here, which I imagine she's going to go for a Kurga instead, this fight is probably over in Garokin's favor. And what's going to happen? Resnick the Hoppy, Constricting Cleave, going to take out the Titus. This should be a heal, which means it should be over. Emphasis on should, because Naya is one broken unit. What has Luel got? Infettering Orb. That's going to one-shot. That is a Game 2 victory for Garokin, who gets on the board for the first time. Can he win his first series? Jumping into the final game of this series, guys, and we've got Garokin switching it up again, and it looks like it's going to be Charlotte, Silma, and Lucio. A very interesting combination here with the Crimson Resistance buff coming out from Silma. And this is the team that I believe we saw from Chisei in week 1, or at least one of the teams that we saw from him, with the Stern Wing of Destiny, Mashiri, and Liarte on the other side. Lucio is a very, very healthy boy, though, with almost 12,000 HP, and we've seen him put in a ton of work already, even in just the first week, as Calamity Guard from Mashiri is an insanely good buff. Buffs her healing power, tons of status nullifications, and a one-hit shield for 50% on both units is very, very useful. Charlotte going to get her hate online, walk forward, all that good stuff, as the Pizarro TMR from Liarte getting her online here. What is Silma going to go for? This is probably a fast cast, as she is channeling some sort of spell. Reawakening coming out from Stern again, though. The CT up on re-raise. And what does Mashiri have in store for us? She's already used Calamity Guard. She goes for Zombie Transformation, so she's going to have to be killed twice. Very similar to the first game where Chisei really tried to utilize those re-raise stuff. He's doing it again in this game 3 here, as Anti-Magic Wall comes out from Silma. So not a fast cast, a little surprising, a Magic Barrier instead, as the Protect Shell regen buff comes out from Charlotte. She is very, very healthy, and with her 140, Protect and Shell now doing 40% mitigation is very, very nice. Silma has tons of range on her jamming thrust, though. She's gonna casually find 14,000 damage onto Liarte. That poor 30 cost unit did not stand a chance here. Mashri might be able to find damage. I don't think so. I think this is some sort of buff again. Convergence Plus drops the healing power on Charlotte. Probably not much healing going to come out from this side from Garokin. However, that will actually nerf a little bit of the regen that Charlotte gets. Will this end up mattering? And I take it back. She finds the Banishka and only 700 health being regened here. That's about half, I think, of what it normally would be here, as the Limit Break Protector's Holy Judgment comes out from Charlotte. She finds the AoE, 2,000 damage on Amashri, but very little onto the Stern. Does nerf their attack and magic, though, and boost her own defensive stats, which might help them live some hits. And is this a Cura coming out from Silma? Because if it is not, she's going to be in trouble. She is taking poison damage as the Mega Red Lightsaber comes out again from Stern. How much damage? 2393, really not all that much. Does get his haste back online though, and Mashri is going to follow this up again with Hallowed Ray. She has actually got really good penetration levels when she does use this skill. And Lucio goes Greater Domain of Light, can't find the damage, just going to fall back and buff Silma. And there's the Cura, but I will say, as well as Charlotte is tanking these hits, and she did very well, she took 5 hits from the enemy team, no damage was found while Charlotte was tanking those. They really only found the Liarte on the other side. And I have to say, I give the advantage to Chisei here. Lucio is a very, very strong unit. Silma's a good MR, but this is going to be tough to beat here with the 2 UR units here closing in now, and the refresh on Calamity Stronghold now having that 50% barrier back online. It's going to be pretty hard to beat Chisei here. So Stern's going to close in. Convergence Plus 6,200 is more than Garokin probably would like to see. Lucio going to return some damage here though. What has he got? Scintillating Eclipse, another 6k right back onto him, as the Blood Sword, it looks like it is equipped on to Lucio. An interesting choice, as Lucio does have his own sword, which is also very good for him, but opting for the Blood Sword here from Garokin. And Mashri going to channel what looks like a heal. Convergence Plus takes out Lucio, and if this is a heal, this is certainly over. What is it? It is Curative Prayer. Silma is a very good MR, but I just don't see it. Jamming Thrust would have to one-shot, and he still has the re-raise online, and same with Mashri. I'd take that back. She goes with the double piercing attack that removes the re-raise, but this should be another heal, and I think Stern finds his kill. Not quite. He doesn't have the AP. Curative Prayer. It's just not going to be enough. I'm sorry, Silma. You'd have to double kill and remove re-raise from both at the same time. It's just not going to happen. Resistance break again, dealing okay damage, but Stern is going to find this kill and is going to find Chisei a Game 3 victory and series win. Starting off this season 2-0. Well played to Chisei, also well played to Garokin. Let's check out the other series. Coming into the second series, guys, we've got the Toilet King versus the True King from Season 2, both coming off 3-game losses in the first week here. We've got my squad, Montleonis, Skahal, and Slime versus Ram9, Zirel, Alphonse, Elric, and Surges. So it'll be an interesting matchup here to see who wins it. So right out of the gate, zombie transformation from my Skahal, and Urel walking over to the side to try and buff her buddy Alphonse. Slime's going to walk forward, get the accelerate on the entire party to try and get agility up, and I'm hoping for a Keen Blade on my very next turn, as Surges with the Dragoon's Pride, a very speedy SR unit, actually goes before my Montleonis. A little surprise there. But very nice tech from him with the Kane TMR, as Expertise of the Alchemist comes out from Alphonse to try and get that elemental chain resistance, as well as a number of things. Hoping for the Keen Blade, but I don't find it. I do find Taunting Blade, though, which gives me a bunch of new hate that I didn't have. Mont should be able to soak up many hits here, as Vacuum Slash from the Surges only does about 1800 damage, soaked up pretty well by my Mont, and the Courage online giving also a little bit of AP to Urel. Here is when the fight really is going to kick off. Skahal's going to walk forward though, pretty much my favorite unit in the game. Thunderga Dispose are going to walk forward, damage cap onto the Surges, and a very healthy chunk onto the Alphonse. You'll love to see it. Jealous Wrath going to come out from the Slime just in case he does get some sort of offensive attack here, and here is the Alphonse going to try and close the distance. I don't like how well this team is stacked up, though. The AoE is a huge pain here, and I'm saying, Montleonis, get out of the way, buddy. You need to move. He does not. He finds a Killer Drain Blade, and he's going to sit still right next to his party members. I'm saying, buddy, you got to get out of the way so these people don't catch the AoE. Rend the Heavens comes out, and my slime is down before being able to get a single heal off. The one thing going for me, though, is that Skahal is ready to hit an AoE here on both of these units. Thundaga Disposer dropping 6k onto the Urel, even with the elemental disadvantage. That boy eats his Wheaties for sure. Mont is going to standard attack the Alphons. And what does he have for a follow-up? Only 12 AP. So I'm thinking he shouldn't be able to find an AoE here. He's just going to standard attack Mont for 986 damage. Urel, though, has 60 AP and plenty of room to find the AoE. Fist of Perforation is going to take out the Skahal, but I still have re-raise, and I'm looking at the map and I'm thinking, I think he can find a Thundaga Disposer on both of these units here. This should be a game 1 victory for me, looking at the map. Instead, he goes for a Thunder. I'm honestly not entirely sure why he did that. As far as I can tell, I think he can hit that diamond, but it looks like he does not go for it. I'm not sure if it's a break in the map or what the cause is, but Stalagmite Transmutation is going to take out my Skahal, and now we have two very low health targets on Ram's side versus my 50 cost Mont. Demon Purgers does 4k and heals are up for about 12-11. Mont, can you find an AoE on both of these units? Not quite, but Jamming Edge is going to take out Urel, and now it is down to the wire with my 1500 health Mont versus a 485 health Alphonse. He standard attacks for 985, and Mont, what do you have in the tank? You have 4 AP. Can you do 485 damage, buddy? No, he can't. I think he actually got the reaction block rate. Only takes 291 damage. I'm not sure mathematically if that would have made a difference, but it keeps him alive, and Ram 9 wins game 1. Coming into game number 2 here, I felt pretty confident with my Mont Skahal slime team, as the first game, even though it was a loss, was very, very close, and that was with my slime not getting a single heal off. So I decided to bring the exact same team, but Ram 9 goes with a switch up. He goes with Reagan, Freyevia, and Murmur, which I think this team is beatable for me as long as my Skahal does not get chained down. So Zombie Transformation comes out from him, gives the re-raise, so he basically has to die 3 times in a row. Attract Barrier comes out from Freyevia, so that 70% Magic Shield is very, very good against my Skahal, but he's got some big AoEs, and that is what I have going for me. So Acceleratal comes out from Slime, gives some agility up onto the entire party, and I switch off the Keen Blade, and I just go with Heart of Flutter with Mont to try and get him way out in front instead of tanking next to my other units. Fast Cast comes out from Murmur, giving some of that haste onto the tank from Ram 9's side, making his team very speedy, and Protecting the Light of the Future comes out from Reagan, so he is good to go as well with 103 AP at the moment. Skahal going to find a very nice Thundaga Disposer though, lands 7,300 damage onto Reagan. His self-heal is basically going to negate that, but that is a very sizable chunk of damage that I like to see. The one thing I don't like to see is that my Skahal is standing right next to my Mont. One thing that is really nice though, Slime does find the Hustle Dance +1, topping him off, and it's basically like he didn't take any sort of damage. Mont, get out of the way, buddy. Get away from your backline. He does not do that. He Killer Drain Blades and walks right next to Skahal. Unfortunately, I was hoping he would walk forward right next to her instead, but he did not do that, and that is okay. Murmur is going to walk forward. She's going to go Shadow Flare, get some AoE resistance down on both party members, and that is a non-elemental attack, which is done very, very nice damage onto Mont, who is more of an elemental tank than anything. Crimson Blade Strike comes out from Reagan, takes out Skahal for the first time, and does a good amount of damage onto my tank as well. And now I'm thinking, Ruh-roh, Spellveil Blade, probably from the Freyevia, should seal the deal onto Skahal. Debilitating counter is nice, but I kind of needed a reflex at this point, not a debilitating counter, as Skahal is going to drop. My Slime is going to do his job and heal Mont all the way back up to full, which is just ridiculous. However, unless he can bring back Skahal, this fight is going to be over for me. Taunting Blade finally coming up from Mont as he smartens up and gets to the side after his DPS is already dead, and Freyevia is going to go next and try and take him down. So her haste finally disappears, which is nice for me, as Blizziga Blade does about 2,000 damage, but I'm hoping that Mont can soak this damage enough that I can get a re-raise onto Skahal, and that's not going to happen. As you can see, that Reagan is absolutely cracked. He is doing so much damage to my Mont, and Shadow Flare, this deck is so well done by Ram 9. One thing I will say is I was building quite a bit of both Ice and Earth Resist for Ram 9's composition. My Mont has like 50 plus Earth Resist in this build. Shadow Flare doesn't give a shit about your earth resistance. So this is the raise coming out from the slime. So he is finally trying to bring Skahal back to life here. Can he get this mission done with in time? And as you can see from the turn order, he cannot. Freyevia is going to go next, and she is going to seal the deal with a Spellveil Blade, taking me out in pretty convincing fashion in game 2. Third series of the day, guys, that we're going to jump into, and it is Greatestness on the left side from State Military versus 25th BAM of Black Turtles on the other side. So BAM coming off a 2-1 loss in week 1, as Greatestness actually picked up a 2-0 win in week number 1. So BAM looking to get some more points, hopefully his first series win of the season, and here we go. So Proclamation coming out from King Montleonis to try and get that hate up as well as move forward out of the way. Suns out, guns out from Summer Jaden, and so this is a triple missile comp coming out from BAM. So no tank to speak of, just lots of range damage, and we'll see if it works out for him, as multiple members already got AP Restore online. Curative Field comes out from Severo though. This is the 9S TMR, so worry about some status effects it looks like, and also just getting some regen to try and make sure that these units stay healthy, even if they take some chip damage from these missile units. The Haste TMR comes out from Heal, very nice tech, and it looks like the Alaya TMR coming out from BAM. I think one of the things with Vega TMR just being everywhere, people are more and more concerned about Berserk being a thing, so using that TMR on the entire party basically just guarantees that you will be Berserked for a few turns, which is nice. So the Heart of Flutter, Sweetheart Ildira TMR comes out on King Mont. So he's going to walk forward, got a lot of really nice unit resist. As Arm Shot, did that disable land? Yes, it did. And BAM comes out firing, pun intended, with the disabled Mont. Not going to be able to do a look at anything in the few turns coming up here. The Limit Break comes out from Charisse, so Fall of the Stars. Haven't seen this animation probably ever in a fight here. Just about 3,000 damage, and actually removes the haste from Heal as well. Unfortunately for BAM, the reaction ability does get his health back a bit, but Arm Shot, a nice chunk of damage, heals back about 4,700. And I'm sorry, did I miss? Did somebody do healing power down? I think he must have, because that was not a massive heal back. Summer Jaden going to find a Limit Break though, and this Limit Break slows. If this slow lands on multiple units, I think it's going to be very hard to beat this team from BAM. And it does just that. This is a slow, disabled Mont. He literally can do nothing. This poor guy. Disable was removed, but he's still slowed. So, oh man, the S-Una coming out from Severo. Not something I'd expect to see today. As the Extreme Nova comes out from Heal. How much damage can this do? That is a lot. It takes out the Charisse. Summer Jaden crucially lives, though. And Krace is going to be up next. Can she find an AoE on both units here? No, she just goes for a double shot sharp. That's going to take out King Mont. Summer Jaden should be able to find a kill here, but is it on to Heal or on Severo? I have a feeling he might just go for Severo in the backline. That is it. AP break shot. Severo's dead. The slowed Heal. Who's next up in the turn order? And as you can see, that slow is ending up to be gigantic here, as Heal does not get to go until both of these units go again. Summer Jaden should be able to just auto attack him and find the kill, and BAM comes out of the gates hot with a game 1 victory over Greatestness. Game 2 between these two players, guys, Greatestness and BAM again, and it looks like the exact same team from Greatestness. A little bit of a surprise to me. And looking on the other side, yeah, this is just a complete run back of both teams. Firm Resolve coming out from Hio, so I'm curious what the switch up is here, what he thinks is going to turn the fight on its head. Did he build any sort of like resistances to some of these statuses is my question, because that was really the main reason that he lost last time, is those status effects. Summer Jaden gonna go Suns Out, Guns Out though. This looks like pretty much the exact same initial turn rotation coming up from BAM as game number 1. Revitalize for Krace, gets her AP off and running. And what does Severo go for here? Curative Field again, so interesting. I have not seen really any changes from Greatestness here. This is Momentum. I think this is the exact same turn rotation. So what is the adjustment? Dragon's Bloodline. Yeah, I feel like I'm watching the exact same fight back here. Did I click on the right video is the question. Zombie transformation coming out from Jaden. I don't think we saw that last time. I don't think so. I'm pretty sure that was something different. Heart of Flutter comes out from King Mont though. We did see that last time. And Krace should just go for an arm shot just like the last fight, I believe. Does the disable land this time is the question. I think it did. No, it did not. Okay, so this is the switch up coming from Greatestness. Did he equip some disable resist runes to maybe try and prevent this? This might be the difference in the fight. We'll have to find out. So fall with the stars coming out again. And does it remove the haste? Yes, it will. So no more haste on Hio again. I'm actually a little surprised he went with that DMR considering it got dispelled last time. We'll have to see what happens here. Goes for the arm shot again. And no disable, so that is the difference from everything that I can tell. King Mont has disable resist runes, and Greatestness is saying, hey dude, that is the only reason you won last time is because Mont couldn't do anything. Midsummer Sniper comes out though, and 8300 kills the Mont. So he's not disabled, but he is dead. He is in the grave underneath the ground here. Heal comes out. Is there any more damage from the limit break compared to last time? Last time it one-shot Charisse but did not kill Jaden. It is the exact same this time. Severo, is he finding damage or it is his courage? No, it's his courage and his haste. So this time, not having to burn the turn of Esuna also gives Severo haste and an extra hit of life. This is pretty massive actually, and I think this is the biggest difference coming out from Greatestness teams compared to game 1. Is Severo disabled though? Has he got arm shot? Yes, he is, but he's basically playing the tank role as Summer Jaden thinks he can kill him. He ends up going to his courage. He won't be able to do any damage, but Heal probably finds an AoE here. Yes, he does. Unknown Trader is going to kill Summer Jaden, and Krace, there's no way she's going to be able to one-shot this Heal here. In fact, I think she probably just kills Severo, is my guess. She does. She goes for the standard attack. Hio should be able to clean this fight up, and this looks like a game 2 victory from Greatestness. A great adjustment by him, getting that disable res on the party. Let's jump into the final game. Game 3 between these two players, and it looks like a complete run back from Greatestness side of things, but Bam on the other side is going to go a much heavier magic angle with Halloween Little Leela, Kefka, and Krace. Interesting. So I don't think this team is legal from Bam. I could be mistaken here. Krace is 50 cost. I believe Leela's 80 and Kefka's 100. I think this team is illegal from Bam. I'm gonna just throw that out there. I could be wrong about this, but Hio's 100, King Mont is 90, Severo's 30. So this is legal from Greatestness. So we'll have to watch this fight play out. If Bam wins this, we might have to look at something here. I might be confused, but I'm 99% sure of this. As re-raise is going to come out from Krace, and what does Heal have online? He's going to go Momentum, the King Bradley TMR, Reaction, Block, and Haste, ready to go. King Mont, I imagine Proclamation, and it looks like Greatestness is saying, hey, dude, this is the team that works. There's nothing that you can do to beat it. Let's see what kind of adjustments you can make. And Bam, what does he have here? Show me your power comes out from Kefka, Spirit, AoE Resist, and Hate. So giving the backline gunner some hate, but as long as it's not on Kefka, I suppose, as he does have a ton of AoE resist in his kit. Severo should be channeling his courage and haste spell right now. And what does Krace go for? She's going to go for arm shot. No disable, I assume. I assume these are the... Disable did land. Did he switch his runes or did he just get lucky in game 2? I have no idea. Oh man, and now I'm really confused. Level 4 Aeroga comes out from Halloween Little Leela, doing a sizable chunk onto the entire party. Severo should get his courage up though in time, as Burning Drive is going to one-shot Little Leela. But this still looks pretty good for Bam though, as this is a disabled King Mont. I don't know, man. Kefka, how much damage can he find? He's going to channel his spell, which this is the best spell in his kit, his AoE that he has to channel. Barrier Break Arrow only going to do 1900 though. And fortunately for Greatestness, the arm shot cannot find Severo, has to go into the tank. Unknown Trader going to kill the Krace, re-raise removal as well. And King Mont going to go next, but he is disabled, can't really do a whole lot of nothing. But Severo probably finds a kill here. He has 50 Spirit Pen in his kit now with his upgraded 140. Water Gut Perpetuator going to come out, 4400 damage, and going to take out Kefka, and Greatestness is going to win it in game 3. So yeah, guys, unfortunately, I think that is a cost mishap by Bam. I'm sure that was an accident by him, probably thinking that Halloween Little Leela is 70, but she's 80 in our format. Krace is 50, and Kefka's 100. So yeah, unless I'm doing some math wrong, that would be 230. But Greatestness ends up winning the fight anyway, so it doesn't really matter a whole lot, but just to keep in mind for the future. So we've got 2 more series to get into for this division. Let's check out series number 4. All right, series number 4, guys, is Numero 80 on the left side of Blind Enthusiast with a level 127 Zazan tech. I think I know why that is, as it looks like the other side is Mr. Aloha with Roy Mustang, Adelard, and Warrior of Light. Interesting. So one thing to shout out really quick before we get into this fight, 127 Zazan, I'm pretty sure he is running this so that he does not have full hate down. In his 140 he has hate down 4, but it's not 4 if you leave him at that level. So I'm thinking he's probably running Bowtie on Zazan so that he has 1 hate exactly. That is my guess. As a bunch of buffs coming out from both parties. Sorry to skip that, but I had to throw in that little anecdote here. And what is coming out here? Zombie transformation from the Zazan. So trying to be Zazan the unkillable as the 30 cost unit in our format. This, I believe, is a fast cast from Adelard. Yes, it is. It's going to go on to the Warrior of Light, get that unit attack resist up and haste, as well as Veil of Woe from Sephiroth, who is already hasted up himself. He is ready to go. Stop Strike comes out, does not land the stop onto the Zazan though. Garvel, how much damage can he do on a Warrior of Light? Does he have any Dark Resist built up? Spirit Blaster does a ton, almost 8k, but that self heal is going to bring him back up to full right away. Sealing Thrust with the elemental disadvantage just did 10k onto Zazan. And Mr. Aloha, I have to remind you to level up your damage up nodes, dude. I'm pretty sure that was only 10,099. You can get more out of Adelard, buddy. And Sephiroth going to find Hell's Gate, though the AoE barrier break and slash tech resist piercing up for himself is massive. Stop Strike only does 984 onto the Sephiroth though, and Garvel might be able to find a detonation blast. I forgot Spirit Blaster with its upgrade is now a tremendous skill. Finds the AoE on both the tank and Roy, and that is absolutely brutal for Mr. Aloha. Mr. Aloha trying to get on the board for the first time, was 0-2 last week. Numero obviously coming into the week with 3 points after he beat me 2-1 in week 1. Adelard is a very good unit, but there's no way. Sealing Thrust is not going to be enough. Garvel should be able to clean up this fight right here, unless it is a magic reflex. There is not. Chi Shot comes out, 3k damage, and Numero 80 and the Blind Enthusiasts win game 1. Game number 2 of this series, guys, and Numero 80 is bringing out the 127 Zazan again, along with Sephiroth and Garvel. And Mr. Aloha on the other side obviously goes with a switch up, getting that glove and book synergy. There are a couple of cards that these jobs work with together, as Halloween Lucia, Roy Mustang, and Sosha comes out here. So not full cost. I believe that is a 210 cost team, but it looks pretty strong on paper here, as Garvel's going to get his own barrier, walk forward, momentum, the King Bradley TMR on Sephiroth just to get him to take as many turns as possible, and Keen Blade coming out from Sosha here is a very nice tech from Mr. Aloha. So Roy, what does he go for? Fuel to the Fire, gets his own barrier online, and also a damage up modification for himself. Re-raise for Zazan. So basically the exact same setup from Numero 80. He says if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I'm going to run it again. And this is the limit break from Halloween Lucia. For Mr. Aloha, this is probably exactly what he wants to see. You love to see her lead with this, as she finishes him off in one hit with the follow-up attack. And now she has her follow-up attack online for the next couple of attacks as well. Sosha, can she find a kill? Yes, she can. She only has to standard attack, so it gives herself some AP as well. And that is very nice for her. Veil of Woe from Sephiroth, so it is an early 3v2 without Sephiroth being able to do any damage. Spirit Blaster 4800 onto the Halloween Lucia. I'll say she actually tanked that better than I expected. She's notoriously good against physical, but normally drops like nothing to magic. But this should be an AoE onto both units. Unhappy Ending, a ton of damage onto Garvel, finishes him off with the Arcane Shot. An Arcane Shot doing 1500 to Sephiroth. He is such a ridiculously good unit. He's so bulky to seemingly everything, as Hell's Gate finds all 3 units, but tanked up very well by Mr. Aloha. That Halloween Lucia only took about 2k to it. Very, very nice, even after the barrier break. And Sosha just pokes him for a little damage. I'm surprised she didn't go for an ability there. Does she have abilities turns off? Hell's Gate comes through, and Halloween Lucia still lives it. I am shocked here, as her and Roy Mustang are going to go next. All-consuming flare, though, 6,600 damage is a lot. Can Halloween Lucia find this kill and find the win for Mr. Aloha? Yes, she can. And this is going to a game 3, as Mr. Aloha picks up his first point of the season. Final game of the series, guys, and we've got Mr. Aloha now on the left side, not to confuse you from the last couple battles, and Numero 80 is on the other side. So we've got Halloween Lucia, Oberon, and Sosha on the left, and Numero 80 in the same fashion is sticking with his exact same team from his first 2 games. I'm wondering if he switched up anything at all, as Spell of Fortification comes out from Halloween Lucia, so she has that physical barrier. Sephiroth really doesn't care very much about it, as King Bradley TMR comes out. Sosha probably going to Keenblade here. Yes, she will. Keenblade, the whole party, gets about 25 AP from it, so not bad at all. And Oberon, what does he go for? He's going to pop bells. Okay, so he's got tons of AP. And he likes to limit break, so not a bad move coming out from him. Zombie transformation again, and this looks like the exact same comp from Numero. So even after losing game 2, I think he really hasn't switched much of anything, although there's always a possibility that he could have turned on or off certain skills or switched up some gear, some espers, things like that. Does this one shot again? Yes, it does. Zazan's going to drop immediately to the Halloween Lucia. We've seen this same song and dance before, as Sosha's going to walk forward, poke him, and he's going to drop. It is an early 3v2 again for Mr. Aloha. So Sephiroth, can he find damage? No, he's going to go Veil of Woe just like last time. Get his 3-hit barrier on. And Detonation Blast from Garvel, though, I think that is the same as last time. No, I think he Spirit Blastered Halloween Lucia last time, so this is a little different, and I believe that did more damage than last time as well, so maybe some sort of change in Garvel's equipment, as that is not a lot of damage coming out from the Oberon. Garvel tanking that very, very well. Hell's Gate comes out on the entire party, and that does way more damage than it did in the last fight. What the heck was the switch up? I have no idea, but that was tanked way better last time, as Unavailable Pain kills Oberon, and Numero 80 wins game 3, claiming himself another series win. Alright guys, jumping into the final series, and this is our Wezette match of the week, with Shadow on the left side, with Uni, Perrine, and Shell. Interesting, so way below full cost, but just basically putting all of his chips on the Perrine card here. And what does Shell go for? Probably just a haste, I imagine, as McCrane on the other side is running his favorite unit, Gargus, along with Sakura and Dario, so a lot of magic power coming out from McCrane's side. And with this match of the week, this is our only matchup this week with 2 teams who both won in week 1, so something's got to give. One of these teams won't be undefeated when it's all said and done with, as the guard haste comes out onto Uni. Presence of the Dragon is nice, but the haste already went off, and this is a haste nullify, not a dispel, so the haste on Uni is still going to exist. Even though that TMR is used, the timing on this is very, very weird, as Vortex Kick comes out from Perrine, gets her own defensive piercing rate up, and Quicken going to go on the Uni. What is he going to go for next? He's got plenty of AP here, as Arrowfall hits both units, getting rid of all of any sort of haste CT shenanigans that you want to try and pull off here. Gargus going to channel a spell, though, and I imagine this is probably the end for Uni, as Gargus is a very strong unit. This is probably a one-shot. Aeroga Disperser comes out. Yeah, that is damage cap onto the poor 30-cost unit. Shell is out in no man's land, as Perrine is out basically in a 3v1 here. Draining Seal coming out from Dario. And I have to say, unless Shadow's Shell can close the gap later on in this fight, this is probably all over for him. This looks like it's McCrane's fight to win. So what is Gargus going to channel up with? This is probably, I was going to say he's going to go for a flare, but I don't think he can reach. He goes for Windlash for 7,300. That is a lot of damage. And Sakura going to follow it up with Eternal Pain. Magic can't chain together, but she can chain with herself. This is a 3-hit light magic chain that is going to get rid of Perrine. And in a very one-sided affair, McCrane looks like he is probably going to win this game, as Shell is the only one alive. Sentinel comes out from Dario. And what is she channeling here? I'm not even sure. Dispel Eroder. So just basically dispelling any sort of buffs that Sakura may have had. I don't think that's really going to matter. As Shadow Flare comes out, does this one shot? Yes, it does. Shell is going to drop a very interesting game 1 fight here. I'm not entirely sure with the positioning what Shadow was going for with the Shell and the Uni on the other side of the Perrine, but I'm curious to see what the adjustment is in game number 2. Second game of our final series for the Wezette division, and there's a major switch up coming out from Shadow's team. We've got Orlando, Shell, and Celis versus Glaciella, Volade, and Snow. So the same team that McCrane brought out in week number 1 coming out here, as Snow is going to go use his courage, and Shell, she is probably going to channel a haste onto Celis, I imagine, who has some initial hate. And Volade which buff is he going to go for? He's got his protect buff. He's got his other, is it this one? Yeah, accuracy, protect, hate down for himself, as well as a bunch of other things. This is my favorite buff of his. It's just very, very nice, and also gives himself hate down, which is very useful on a healer. As Celis is going to walk forward, quicken onto the Celis, not a haste, it's a quicken. So she's going to walk way forward. Tank is out in front, which is something that I'm sure Shadow likes to see. And Shell looks like probably going to channel a haste on herself now. Now, the only question is Shell going to get out in a weird position where she basically is just in a buff rotation on herself? I think Shadow is probably hoping that's not the case, as a different buff also comes out from Wezette, so he's basically used everything he's got. His team is pretty souped up at this moment. Terror Slash does about 4k onto the Celis here. Snow going to follow up with another almost 5,000 damage, raise his own defensive piercing as well. And Shell is hasted up, ready to go. Orlando, you need to get in this fight and do some damage, though, as the Titus TMR, or Titus rather, from FF10. Some critical damage up. But Celis, what can she find? Magic Burst on the entire party actually does a good chunk to Wezette. He is probably going to be on healing duty now. As Shell, can she reach a haste or a quicken onto Orlando from here? I'm not entirely sure. I imagine this is a Cura. Yes, it is a Cura, so it hits the entire party. Dispel Eroder, actually. So drop some stats and gets rid of any buffs onto the Snow here. But man, oh man, this looks really good from McCrane again. Celis is already down before really any damage getting done by Shadow here. And Orlando, he's a strong unit, but only at 120 without any sort of reincarnation. Can he pull off anything here? Hallowed Bolt Extreme's going to come out, 3,800. It does remove the Courage from Snow, which could be pretty massive. And now what is Shell's AI? Is it Quicken or Haste first? It is Haste first. So now let's check out the turn order here. Wezette, is he low enough to go for a heal? This looks like he might be. No, it's Ice Vitalization, which is actually probably pretty good for Shadow here. If Glaciella can't reach... Surefire Burst comes out. Okay, this might actually be a moment here for Shadow. Can he find an AoE on a couple of these units? Because Orlando's going to go, and then there should be a Quicken coming from Shell, looking at the turn order. So Swordplay Thunder God going to come out. A bunch of AoE damage. Also gives himself haste. Not that he already needed it. He also has Blood Sword, so he just healed almost 2,000. This should be a Quicken, I believe. Yes, it is. Wait a second, guys. I thought this was over. 44 AP. Divine Ruination comes out. That's a double kill. He's going to heal more back. This is now a full health Orlando with haste versus Glaciella with the elemental advantage and Shell backing him up with quickens. How fast is... Oh my god. This is insane. Crush Armor Plus going to come out. 5,000 damage. He's going to catch a quicken again. And as much as I thought this looked so bad for Shadow with Shell sitting in the back, Countersting comes out though. Wait a second. Glaciella says this isn't over. 28 AP. Can she find the kill on Orlando? No, she goes for Shell in the back line. She had to go for Orlando there. If she went for him, this might have actually still been McCrane's win. But Shadow's Orlando comes through, and with the Blood Sword healing and the quickens from Shell, picks up the Game 2 victory, and we are heading to a Game 3. Final game of the week for Wezette, guys, and we've got Celis, Ultra, and Winter Luartha coming out from Shadow side. So I believe this is the team that lost to Bam's team when basically got charmed Celis quickening back into itself. So I'm excited to see what this team does when not charmed by the other side. So it looks like Gargus, Sakura, and Dario coming out from McCrane's team here. And this should be a good one. Celis, a very smart use here into the double magic squad of McCrane. A very nice call by Shadow in Game 3 here. And what does Dario go for? He's just going to pop Sentinel. He's got almost 14,000 health. My question, though, is there enough damage from Shadow's side to get through Dario? This is a very tanky boy. And Celis not known for her damage. Cleansing Blade, only 192 damage onto the Dario. And this is exactly what I was questioning here. As Revitalize comes out from Winter Luartha, Gargus going to channel something. This should get absorbed by Celis. And Ultra going to channel what I think is a Quicken. And the timing here is not really going to work out very well for Shadow here, as it's going to go before Celis ever actually goes. Windlash going to get absorbed, so there's still one more absorption on there. Draining Seal going to get his hate up, and Dario is very, very healthy. No, I'm sorry, that is not a Quicken. That is Meteor Plus with 4,000 damage. So as much as I said there's not damage here, that is an offensive Ultra, and now I'm much more interested in what this Ultra is going to do here. Dragon Standard comes out, gets her jump online, Winter Luartha should be able to find damage next turn. One thing I will say is there's no healing from McCrane's side here other than Dario healing himself with Draining Seal. He does have, it looks like a little bit of healing power up in his kit to try and heal more back from that skill. A very smart tech from McCrane. Flare goes off, and Celis's Runic is now gone. Elshra's channeling something here, though. I don't think she can reach damage, which means this is probably a quicken onto Winter Luartha. No, it is a Meteor Plus. That skill has tons of range. Dario still alive, takes 49.58. Celis going to try and look for an AoE here, I imagine, with Magic Burst. Actually does a pretty sizable chunk to Sakura. Can Winter Luartha find damage onto the Sakura now? No, just Binding Javelin, but Dario is going to drop. It is a 2v3. Gargus should kill Celis here, I think. Unless she ran out of hate. She ran out of hate. Windlash does so much damage. Oh my god, and this looks so good for McCrane now. But Sakura turns Light Blade onto Celis. Winter Luartha, you have one turn to get this done. You need to get double kill right now. Holy shit, this is down to the wire. Javelin Fall comes out. Double kills both units. Oh my god, but re-raise is on Sakura. Okay, I thought this was over. I thought Shadow won. She's gonna lap. Winter Luartha just lapped, and she just won. She kills Sakura, and oh my god, Shadow 91 picks up the game 3 win, the series win. And guys, this is massive. This is the first ever best of 3 that McCrane has lost in the WDL. He was 9-0 last season, started the season 1-0. Shadow 91, well played, man. Well played, getting the first series win over McCrane from anyone. So very, very well done. Props to McCrane as well. That game 3 was a banger. That did not go how I expected it to go, but very, very exciting match. Let's check out the standings for this division. All right, guys, after 2 weeks of play for our Wezette division, let's take a look at the standings, see how it shakes out. And you're going to see something, a pretty common trend. Our new players are friggin' kicking ass. Holy shit. Greatestness, Shadow 91, Chisei, and Numero 80 are the 4 teams with 6 points. They're all brand new to our league. So as much as we say that some of the experience matters with how you draft your teams and learning about the format and all this kind of stuff, I don't know if these players have just watched a ton of WDL or what, but they're coming out of the gate swinging, doing very, very well for themselves. Greatestness all alone technically in first place with the +3 plus or minus, and the other 3 teams are +2 as they have won their series 2-1 in both weeks, but very, very impressive nonetheless. In 5th place, we have a 2-way tie between 2 very, very good players in McCrane and Ram 9, with the Materia Hunters and the Rock Boys, both with 4 points, both +1 in their win-loss record. 25th, Bam in 7th place all by himself with 2 points for the Black Turtles, 2 mitigated losses. So he's brought both series to 3 games. Unfortunately, hasn't won a series yet, but I'm sure it's coming down the pipe at some point. His series have been very, very exciting to watch. And in last place, we have a 3-way tie between Garokin of Corked and Screwed, Mr. Aloha of Team #PokeSquid, and my team, the Xanarkin Abes. Something is going to give there, as next week I actually play against Mr. Aloha, but for now, we are sitting at the bottom of the barrel. But guys, there are 7 more weeks of matches, and I'm very, very excited to do those, to cast those, and all that good stuff. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed. Have a wonderful day.